It ain't easy. Okay. All right, what's up, everybody? CTP here with my guest for today, Lindy Barber. Lindy, why don't you tell the good folks at home a little bit of your story? So they've probably seen the CrossFit Journal article piece that was the video that was really awesome. And they may have seen that show, Barbell, Shrugged, where that was probably one of our coolest intros, by the way. You had just finished getting the title belt at Rush Club.
Yeah.
We followed you back. Super cool.
Awesome.
And then, of course, you timed it just perfectly with the wink right before the music hit. So anyway, to find folks at home a little taste of who you are and kind of your story, since it is so legit.
So the abbreviated version, without going into everything, is that I played soccer my whole life. I played at the University of Dayton in Dayton, Ohio, and then when I stopped playing soccer, I wanted to find something to be competitive in. So through that, I found CrossFit and realized that I could be competitive in CrossFit, but had never really lifted weights in my whole life and had only played soccer and been an endurance athlete. So when I started to lift weights and got into back squatting and deadlift, I started to notice that I had a little bit of low back pain, but didn't really know what it was. So continued training and just was careful with it. And then one day that I was actually in the middle of my first open at the time. I was 3 weeks in. I was doing back squats, and then I ended up collapsing underneath the barbell in the middle of my set. I was in lots of pain. I couldn't walk for about a week. I ended up going to a chiropractor because I thought that my right hip was out. When it turns out that he wanted to get some x-rays, and I ended up having 3 spinal conditions: scoliosis, spina bifida, and spondylolisthesis, which are essentially just 3 issues that make your spine way weaker than it should be, because it's supposed to be the stable part of your body, and it was very weak on me. I didn't know that I had any of these things, so my CrossFit career was put on to hold. And I was on hold for about 6 months until eventually, after about a year, they said, this is the way your spine is. I never had surgery. I never fixed it. But they said, this is your life. Go do with it what you want. In which case, I took that to be, I still want to be active, and I'm still not giving up on my CrossFit dream. So I started training again, got back into it, got myself healthy, and then ended up qualifying for the 2013 CrossFit Games.
Boom. I feel bad now. I was like, tell your story real quick. You're,
It's okay. That's the abbreviated version, but
nice.
It works.
So, yeah, that's super awesome because, I mean, at what point when you were told that you were not going to be in the game, was there any thought that, no, I wasn't going to try this, like you were going to listen to the advice and maybe just become a runner or something? Or was it always...
I mean, when I was in the chiropractor's office, he was the first one that showed me my x-ray, showed all the things that were going on with it, and then explained to me that, you know, I am a chiropractor. I deal a lot with your spine, and I know by the way that your spine looks right now that this whole working out thing's not for you. You're not going to really be able to lift. You're not going to be able to do it. Your body's not going to be strong enough to handle it. You should really just start to consider something else. I mean, and I lost it in the chiropractor's office. It was something that I had immediately just decided that I wanted to be a part of my life, and I didn't know what to do. And I really thought it was over. So I went home and saw other spinal doctors. I thought eventually I was going to have surgery. Like, I thought my entire life was changing until after these 6 weeks, and they tried to heal it, and nothing had healed, and it was just the way that my body was. And they weren't really recommending surgery because there was no guarantee that it was going to help anything. So it turned into, well, like, I actually have a chance for this, because they're not saying it could get worse. It's already broken. It hasn't healed. It's still broken. So now it's just a point of, if I can get my body strong enough to be able to handle it, instead of it's going to get worse the more that you work out. So that's when it kind of came back into my head that, like, oh, well, if this is the way my body is, and I just have to adjust and make the life changes that I need to get stronger, then that's something that I can definitely overcome.
Yeah, and if you want to be inspired today or any day of the week, go watch that journal piece. And when you found out that you were going to be going to the games, what an intense moment.
Oh my God, it was one of the most intense moments of my life, for sure.
Have you talked to those people who told you weren't going to be working out since then?
No, I haven't. I have seen a couple other spinal doctors in the meantime, and just people that I have known and people that have come into our gym that are still very mind blown, the fact that I can handle and my body can actually handle the stuff that I put it through, and that I'm as strong as that I am. But that specific doctor, I have not gone back to see him. No.
Oh man, you should send him a postcard. Send him a Christmas card, like, of you at the games.
Yeah, I know. Be like, oh, so hey, here's this picture. This is what you told me I'd never do. So
Yeah. So how are you doing? The Open just ended at the current time of filming. So how do you do?
good. I'm sixth in my region, so I'm going to regional.
Boom. And what?
Yeah.
So what? Remind me, what's that region called now?
Well, I am in the Central East Regional for the Open, and then we're combining with North Central for the Central Regional.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So you weren't always super Miss Awesome Athlete comeback superstar.
No.
So let the good people know what you were doing before CrossFit. So you said you played soccer.
Yep.
So I'm assuming you were into sports. Like, when did you get into soccer?
I started playing soccer probably when I was about 3. I did a little bit of everything when I was younger. I was on a jump rope team. I played soccer. I tried basketball. I tried volleyball. I ran track for a minute. So I did a little bit of everything. Soccer emerged as my primary sport. Probably I was about fifth or sixth grade. I knew that was the one that I was going to continue with competitively.
What? Did you want to play these sports, or your parents just were really proactive of putting you in there?
So I kind of wanted to do everything. I was always very active. My mom said ever since I was little, I was always like around. I wanted to be outside. I wanted to be running around. I wanted to be doing what everyone else was doing. So once you got into grade school and you could make any team that you wanted, I tried everything. So whatever my friends were playing, I wanted to go and participate with. And she has all these stories about taking me to 4 different practices in the afternoon because I had to go do everything because I wanted to be on all the teams and try it. Soccer is the one that I fell in love with and that my family was most involved with. So that's the one that ended up sticking around. I had no hand-eye coordination, so basketball and volleyball was not going to do it.
Oh, man. See, My experience with soccer was I played when I was 4, and all I remember is wanting to be put on the sideline so I could drink the orange juice and eat the orange peels.
That's right. I mean, there was always good after-school treats, that's for sure.
For sure. All right, so you were playing the sports as a kid from age 3. Geez. But at what point did training become like an idea that you were actually interested in? So you may have been doing like sprints and maybe even some of that stuff had you doing actual weightlifting or weight training in some form or gymnastics, body weight. But at what point in your life did you actually say, okay, aside from sport, I care about, my health, my fitness, training, all that?
Honestly, not until I got into college. So I didn't in high school, your training for soccer was go run. It was running, it was sprints, it was maybe some ab stuff after practices because that was just fun and that's what we all did together. But I never was in a weight room. I never lifted anything until I got into college and they made us. So we had one or 2 sessions a week in the weight room where we back squatted, we benched, and then we did some assisted pull-ups and maybe some lunges and some med ball stability stuff, but that was the only time that I'd ever been in a weight room. I hadn't started lifting anything until then, and I only did those sessions until I stopped playing soccer after my second year, and then after my sophomore year. So I was a junior in college when I really started actually lifting a weight and being taught how to do anything with a barbell.
Okay, so, and when you first got exposed to the barbell and weight training, was it just kind of like, this is what I have to do, this is just part of the game, or was it like, oh, this is kind of fun?
It was more of, oh, this is kind of fun, this is something that is challenging, and it's a whole new challenge for me, and it was fun to do with my teammates, but it was not anything, at the time I was still so focused on soccer, that it wasn't anything that I was adding in addition to the training that I was doing. Once I finished soccer, then I realized, like, oh, I still like that weightlifting stuff, that barbell stuff that I learned, like maybe I'll keep going with that. And that's how I ended up in the CrossFit world. But it wasn't a priority at all. Soccer was my priority until junior year of college.
And when you first started the weight training, we hear this a lot with the ladies. Were you and your friends, the girls on your team, were y'all worried about getting bulky?
I don't know that I was super worried about being bulky. My body type is very long and lanky. So I have very long legs and very long limbs. So I still don't feel like I'm bulky as an athlete. I think it would take a whole lot for me to really get to that point. I wanted to have strong legs. So I wanted to be able to squat as much as I could because I was a soccer player, but I didn't really care. We didn't do very much upper body because we were the soccer team. So we did some pull-ups, but we didn't take them seriously. We didn't try very hard. I think I benched like 85, 90 pounds and was fine with it. Like, I just didn't really care about any of the upper body stuff. We focused on the squats and the lunges, and that stuff I tried hard at because I knew that my legs needed to be strong, but I didn't focus very much on the upper body. So it wasn't really a thought crossing my mind that I don't want to be bulky, because I wasn't trying very hard actually in the weight room overall.
Right. And do you think for those out there who, for the ladies, and I don't know, maybe some dudes think that, probably not, but speaking to the beginner right now, if that is something going through their head, do you think that that's a concern? That, or is someone starting out getting into CrossFit or getting into training, are they going to get bulky all of a sudden?
So no, it's not going to be this crazy, you're going to lift 4 weights and then next week you're going to look like a bodybuilder, right? So we get that question a lot with ladies and people that come into our gym that are afraid to touch a barbell or to add an extra 10 pounds to the bar because they think that all of a sudden they're going to like gain all these muscles. And the reference that they have in their head are these women who have dedicated their lives to getting this kind of physique, and they're prepping to be on stage, and they've been extremely, extremely careful in their diets to make sure that they are creating those bodies and that they are building as much muscle as possible. And maybe they're taking some extra stuff on the side that's helping them to gain the muscles that they have. But without extreme dedication and hard work for many, many years, it would take, I've been trying to get bulky for years and it's not working very well. Like, I'm trying to eat a whole lot of food and I'm trying to lift a whole lot of weights, and I'm just not, I cannot gain weight very often, muscle weight. So it's not that something that's going to happen overnight. The toned version, the quote unquote tone that everyone wants when they come in, they want to tone their arms and tone their legs. All that they're saying is that they want to lose a little body fat and gain a little bit of muscle, so that you can see that muscle definition. It's the same thing. It's not a separate word. It's not a separate way of training. It's the exact same thing. If you lift a little bit heavier weight, you're going to gain that muscle definition that you want to see in those magazines. So it's definitely not something it's to be afraid of. And the extra 10 pounds you put on that bar is going to be so empowering that eventually you're just not going to care, and you're going to want to keep lifting, and you're going to feel so strong and so good about yourself that it's going to go away. That concern is not even going to be in your mind anymore. We've
been trying to educate people on the, because it's easy to fall into the trap of, growing up and you hear things like, for example, the food pyramid. You just grow up assuming that the government or whoever wrote it, like, yeah, that's just true. And there's so much other advice that's out there that's like that you just, because it's always been told to you,
you just assume.
Yeah, you just assume. And one of those things is that, I think I see a lot of people who want to, like you were saying, lose body fat or get lean or, be toned. They want to just do a whole bunch of cardio. And we've been trying to really educate, the more muscle mass you have, even though you don't want to be bulky, like, it's that muscle that's going to help you get lean.
Right, to get you that toned figure that you want.
Right, and have you had success at your gym seeing like people come in and make progress doing it that way?
For sure. We have lots of ladies that come in the very beginning and they say that all they want is, they just want to lose some weight and they just want to gain that muscle definition figure for whatever the outfit is that they have months from now. And then they get in and they still have that goal in mind for the first month or two. And then all of a sudden they see how strong they can become and what their bodies can handle and how awesome that they are and how good they feel at the end of these workouts. And those goals 100% change. It turns from, I want to look good in my dress this summer, into I want to back squat 200 pounds. Like, those goals change very quickly once they see what they're capable of and see how strong that they really are. Everything about what they originally came in from, they might still have that goal of, sure, I want to look good in that summer dress, but they know that that's going to happen if they keep coming into the gym. So that's not their primary focus anymore.
Right. Yeah, I've long since stopped caring about how I look in my summer dress.
Yeah, that's right. Me too.
Yeah. So let's backtrack a little bit. So what were some of when you were, or actually, I don't think we ever got to it. So you had kind of foreshadowed that you eventually, after getting into the weight training in college for soccer, you eventually found CrossFit. And I'm assuming that's when you actually started, instead of just being told, like, hey, here's this training thing that's going to help with soccer, you started caring, like, oh, I just probably need to be healthy. Kind of give us that. Like, at what point did you start caring, like, oh, I probably need to be in shape, or, oh, my health, or, when did you actually start caring, like, and want to make it a priority?
Yeah, so I came home to the gym once I knew I had finished soccer. I needed somewhere to go. I needed something to do other than soccer training anymore. I started at this gym. All I was doing was going on my 5-mile runs and doing some sit-ups, because that's all that I knew how to do at that point. And then it transformed into a CrossFit gym. I, of course, like everyone else that plays another sport and comes into CrossFit is like, oh, whatever, I'm in really good shape. Like, sure, of course, this is going to be easy. I'm really fit. We're going to figure this out. So I got invited over to a CrossFit class. I started it. It was legs. So I also thought that I had this down. So it was like running, lunges. I don't remember exactly what else there was, but I know there were some squats, but it was primarily a leg, quote unquote, leg workout. And I finished it. And then it was the most sore that I had been in lots and lots of years. Like, I didn't know what had happened. I thought that at the time the workout didn't seem that bad, and then I finished it and I was so tired and so exhausted and had to like take a nap, and then I was hooked. Once I figured out that, wow, like I am not nearly as strong as I thought I was. I'm not in the shape that I thought I was. I have absolutely no upper body strength. I'm completely unproportional. Like, this is important. I need to get better at this. If I want to have any kind of a life in the world of fitness, if I want to be any kind of an example and be a trainer or end up being a coach of some kind, I need to figure out, I need to do this for myself and to get stronger. And I think that this is the way to do it. So then I kept going to classes. And then once I started to get better and starting to feel more comfortable, that's when I got into the competitive aspect of it, because then I actually felt confident enough that, sure, that I could eventually become competitive in this as well.
And how long was that? How long from just being like, okay, now I'm just trying to get in shape and have fun to now I want to compete?
It was, let's see, I started December. It was at least a year of dabbling in it a little bit while I was still in school that I felt like I had any bit of confidence to enter any kind of a competition. And the first thing that I did was just a little gym competition to see who could even pretend to be on our semi-CrossFit team in 2011. So it was very low key, and I lost. Like, I actually came in third, but one of the girls that was made the team got sick, so then I got the spot. So I didn't even actually make the team in the very beginning. I wasn't good enough, but I wanted to try. So it was about a year until I thought I could become competitive at all.
I think we got a bit of a lag going. That's all right. What were some of the, if any, what were some of the dumb things you used to think when you first got into it, or dumb things that you would? Carl told us that he when he first got into it, he used ab cream. You have anything silly like that you just thought would help you get in shape, and now you look back like, why was I doing that?
I ate a lot less food. So when I first started CrossFitting, I was thinking that if I didn't change my diet, really. My diet at the time as a soccer player and a college student was, mac and cheese in the easy shells mac and cheese, and a lot of ramen noodles, and a lot of PB&J, and then I usually had some marshmallows for dessert. That was a lot of what I ate. And I was thinking that to get into shape, I was in no way, shape, or form overweight, but I was thinking that if I wanted to get the muscle, I needed to lose everything else that I had on my body. So I just stopped eating as much food. I would still do the workouts, and I would still go for my runs and keep doing this weightlifting and have people help me, but I did not eat as much food, which was not helping anything. I was not getting any stronger. I did not feel any better on workouts until I actually started getting into classes. I was an exercise science student at the time. So once I got into the classes talking about nutrition and how your body actually works, then I realized, I don't need to eat less. I need to eat actually more of the right foods. So when that kind of changed, then I actually started to feel better and gaining some strength in my workouts. So that didn't go very well. Marshmallows is not a good diet for CrossFit. I can tell you that much.
I feel like if you're going to eat a dessert, marshmallows probably not making my list anywhere.
I don't know. It was you could get a really big bag for $1, and then they lasted for a long time.
For the bargain dessert, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, no, we see that a lot in our Barbell Bikini program, which the goal is to look good, feel good, and it's just the same thing. They're just not eating enough because it's one of those things that seems intuitive, but it's counterintuitive. Right. So we see that a lot too, and a lot of people, you just up the amount of food that they're eating, and then they are consistent in the gym. They do their strength training. They start seeing the results.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sorry.
That's okay.
My computer froze up. So here's a good question. If you could go back and tell yourself early on, give yourself some advice, what would that be?
Early on in CrossFit or early on before, when I was a soccer player?
Let's maybe hear both if they're going to be drastically different.
If I early on as a soccer player, I was really good for a while, and then I got into college, and I wasn't a starter. I was on the bench, but I wasn't playing in many games. So I would tell myself then, I gave up a little bit too early. I stopped after my sophomore year, and I think I should have kept going. So I would tell myself as a soccer player, don't give up on yourself. Like, you don't know how strong that you are. You don't know how much better that you can become. So keep going. Don't lose that confidence you have, because you're only going to get better. Which leads into CrossFit a little bit, because early CrossFit me, I would tell myself to slow down a little bit. So in the very beginning, I was very, very anxious to get better very quickly in movements that I wasn't good at. So push-ups and pull-ups and trying to get a muscle up way too early. And I did not have the upper body strength to get into those movements. So I was trying to do kipping pull-ups and bar muscle-ups way before I even had a strict pull-up. And I wish I could tell myself to slow down a little bit, like enjoy the rides, get the good strength gains, get that base strength first in that upper body before you try to do all the high skill movements, because it'll be much safer and healthier for your joints and your body overall. I ended up getting these movements, but was getting very tired and was wearing everything out very quickly. And I should have developed that baseline strength first before I try to get into those high skill level movements.
And on that same note, what are some of the biggest mistakes you see with your beginning athlete?
We have people that definitely try to load weight too quickly, that do that same kind of thing. They want to learn the skills, the cool looking movements, the things that, you know, the regional competitors are doing before that they gain that base strength. And then as soon as they don't have it within a month or two, they start to get down on themselves and they start to feel like, I'm never going to have it. It's been 2 months. And I want to be able to tell everyone and all beginners, it takes a while, especially if it's been 20 years since you've worked out or 30 years since you've been in a weight room, or if you've never exercised in your life. Your body will adjust way quicker if you give it the rest and the time that it needs to recover, and you give it that time to develop that strength, and you will make those gains, and it will happen in a safe way, and you will have a much longer, healthier fitness life if you are a little bit slower in the beginning, just to treat your body well and not try to overload it too much, and then you'll end that fitness career early. So just slow down a little bit, relax, enjoy the ride, enjoy the strength gains that you can see every day that you come into the gym, and don't worry about trying to hit that lift or 20 pounds heavier next week. It'll come eventually, but it's going to be a process to get there, and your body can handle it. It just takes a minute to develop that strength to get there.
Yeah, it's definitely like walking a tightrope a little bit, because you want them to, like you mentioned, coming in doing the Olympic lifts and doing the high technical stuff that they see regional competitors and stuff doing. And, you know, as the person coming in that is the beginner, like, you do want to do those things because those are the fun things and they look cool, and they're the things that you're going to want to take a picture of and, you know, post on your Facebook when you first start. Like, look at this cool thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it's tricky because it's a psychology thing. You know, you want them to have fun and you want them to kind of want to meet them where they're at a little bit, but you do. So how do you, as a coach, how do you kind of walk that tightrope? Like, what's your advice to someone who's making that mistake?
We have a rule in our gym that we're not going to teach you kipping pull-ups until you learn those 3 strength movements. And until you learn, like a 3 strict pull-up. Like, you're not allowed to learn the kipping until you have 3 strict pull-ups in a row. And it sounds very like cutthroat and we're just yelling at you like a drill sergeant and you can't do it. But we try to explain to our athletes that this is for your shoulder health. And if you ever hear about CrossFit, you hear about lots of shoulder injuries and people throwing their shoulders out and butterfly pull-ups and people getting their joint out of socket. And that's just because that they don't have the strength in these joints and in these motor movements to actually go through the correct range of motion in a safe manner. So we want you to develop that strength first. And a lot of people are working towards a strict pull-up. And a strict pull-up, when you get it, is just as exciting, if not more exciting, than being able to do that kipping. And you can go through kipping, but you're going to start to feel that shoulder pain. So developing that strength will only help those movements in the end. The kipping pull-up and the butterfly pull-up will come much easier if you have the strength to do those strict pull-ups beforehand, because it's only going to make it better. It's only going to make you stronger, and it's only going to make every other lift that you do in the gym also stronger if you have that base strength, for sure.
And where do you go for, sorry, let me back up. I was going to ask something else. What do you tell the person who you know, is struggling and, you know, isn't very consistent? What do you do to try to amp up your people? You know, you see them one time and then they fall off. And do you have any advice for people who just don't have time? Or
yeah, so we always try to take notice of the members who we know that. I always try to take notice of my athletes who are not coming in or who are coming in 4 days a week for 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden I don't see them for a month and a half. As soon as they come back in, I want to talk to them. I want to say, like, where you been? What's going on? I want to remind them of what their goals were when they first came in. So everyone have different goals, and everyone's goals change, and that's okay, and they should keep changing. But if you ever lose sight of that, or if you decide that, oh, that goal is not my goal anymore, we need to reevaluate and reassess what you're doing this for and why you're coming into the gym. Because I think without a goal, you are much more likely to fall off the wagon and to not come back in and to not be consistent. That goal does not have to be fitness related. That goal can be anything in your life. Like, I want to be able to pick up my grandkids when I'm older, or I want to be able to move my furniture by myself. It does not have to be the back squat number or the clean number. It can be something very functional and life related. But if you don't have sight of why you're coming into the gym and why you're doing this day in and day out, I think it's much easier to fall off that wagon. So I always try to talk to my athletes about, why are you here, and like, why are you coming in, and let's reevaluate a little bit, and let's talk about what that goal is, so we can get you on a plan, whether that's 2 days a week or meeting with me one day and then coming to classes 2 other days, so that we can make sure that you're still trying to come in and trying to push yourself to achieve whatever that goal is, either whether it be inside or outside the gym.
So that brings us to this. What is your why?
My why, I am trying very hard to constantly prove to myself and to others out there that there's nothing that stands in your way of achieving the goals that you want. There is no injury, there's no obstacle, anything that you are faced with, your body can handle it, your mind can handle it. There's no reason for you to just stop dead and not achieve the things that you want. My original goal was, of course, getting to the CrossFit Games in the beginning, and that is always going to still be a year after year, as long as my body can handle it, goal for me to do. But it's become much bigger than that to me. I am very passionate about showing people and proving to people that injuries don't define you, and that obstacles do not define your life, that you decide how you want your life to go, and that my goal is to remain healthy and to keep my body as strong as possible so that I can remain in a good fitness world for the rest of my life, so that I can stay functional, I can keep taking care of myself, I will never end up in a wheelchair, I will always be able to take care of myself and to take care of my body and to help everyone around me to also achieve their own fitness goals that they have.
Awesome. With your most successful athletes or members, what do you think could you point to one common characteristic of the person who comes in, maybe hasn't trained in years, maybe they're a little out of shape, or maybe they're brand new to training, hasn't trained at all? Can you point to one thing that they all kind of share in common, that the successful, the people who end up coming in crushing it, maybe go on to compete, maybe achieve their goals, just all-star clients, so to speak, do they all have one common trait you can point to?
They usually the people that are coming in with a long-term fitness goal, that's not just, I want to come in first in this next competition. There is almost always a longer, bigger, more deeply developed goal that these athletes and that these individuals have, that are more successful than the athletes that's just coming in that's only saying, all I want is to go to the games. All I want is to just win my next competition. If that's your sole focus, and the only reason why you're coming in is just to win that next competition, sure, you may be successful for a while, but it's going to be really hard for you to maintain that type of dedication and the type of commitment over the long term. If you have a goal that is longer or bigger than yourself, or something for your long term, for your life fitness, that you are now coming in and day out, and you're having fun with your training and you're enjoying it, and you're not constantly putting this crazy pressure on yourself, I think that it's going to be much more long lasted, and all of our athletes are much more successful when they have that bigger picture goal, as opposed to just within the next month goal after goal after goal, because it's not as mentally draining, and you're a lot more committed to that reason.
I think you just hit the nail on the head, too, with the fun piece. Like, I think a lot of people try to take they make training too serious or get too complicated with it before they ever made it fun. And if it's not fun, that's why CrossFit works so well, is because it is fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, I've certainly been there where it's like, yeah, I like training, and I don't not like it, but it wasn't fun. Like, you can like it, but fun is different, you know?
Totally different.
Fun is where...
If it's not fun, then why are you doing it?
Yeah. Fun is where you say, oh, I can't wait to do that. Not like, right. Oh, I like it, you know.
Right, exactly. It's fine.
It's good to get people to that point, and community is great for that, and, that's why CrossFit works so well. I did want to touch, I know we're probably running out of time. We posted on your Instagrams, at Lindy Barber, if anyone had questions, so I just wanted to filter through a few of these.
Yeah, of course. I think there was quite a few.
Jay Fern wants to know, will you marry me?
Oh, well, maybe let's meet. But probably.
Let's see. What are your go-to exercises to deal with your back issues from the injury?
My biggest go-to exercise is on a machine called a reverse hyper. It strengthens and loosens up my lower back after workouts where I feel like it's really tightened up or it needs some kind of motion to get through to make it feel better. You don't have to actually have physically the reverse hyper to do these. You can also do them on a GHD or on a high-rise bench, anything that you have. And it's just essentially opening and closing that portion of your lower back to kind of get blood flow through there to make sure that it's loosened up and it doesn't tighten up after training sessions.
Love those things.
Me too.
Yeah, it's right now the gym I'm at doesn't have one, and makes me sad.
It makes me sad all day.
Let's see. Amanda Pants 13. I always think that's funny when there's like a number to something that you like. Are there really 13 other Amanda
Pants?
Yeah. Let's see. What strategies do you have for keeping a positive mindset during training on days when nothing is going the way you want / everything feels heavier than normal?
So I actually have a lot of those days, unfortunately. I'm in a place where all I have to do is remind myself how lucky I am to be doing this. So I could very easily not be in the gym, have never come back into the gym, not be exercising, and be in a totally different place in my life. I'm very lucky to be where I am and to be able to be doing what I am, whether that's hitting the PR that I'm supposed to be hitting or being 20 pounds under it. So no matter what is happening in that training day, it's really lucky for me to be able to be there. And it's fun. Again, I'm keeping it fun. I'm around people that are awesome. I'm working out in a great atmosphere. It's too much to take it too seriously because you're in there, you're getting fit no matter what kind of a day you have, you're getting healthier, you're going to be a healthier individual at the end of the day. And it's a fun atmosphere, and I'm just always happy to be doing it.
Awesome. Let's see, Lift Run Girl. She says, how long did it take you to lift your body weight? I'm guessing she probably means squatting, maybe because, but yeah, you want to tackle that?
Yeah, so squatting, because of my background, didn't take me that long to lift my body weight just because I had nothing but legs. But physically lift my body weight, like a pull-up, took me at least a year. So I was on a band. I was on a red band for a very long time, like at least 6 or 7 months until I could do the jumping strict pull up. And then I would like run up to the bar and try to like really inch my way up inch by inch to get my chin up above that bar. The first day that I got on the bar, came from a dead hang position and pulled my chin up above the bar, I started crying. It was like the craziest. I had been on a band for so long. I never thought that my upper body was going to catch up. I never thought that I was going to have that strength. And the day that I finally did it was again, it was kind of overwhelming. Like my upper body had finally caught up a little bit. So it took it didn't take very long for the back squatting for my body weight, but to physically lift my body and my body weight, it took at least a year on something like a pull-up.
Yeah, maybe she meant that. Yeah, good point. How long did it take you to get 2 pull-ups?
Don't know. That I don't really remember. So a while.
Like it was long afterwards, or was it pretty close?
I think 2 pull-ups definitely didn't take nearly as long as 1. So getting that first one was kind of a big feat, but once I had felt it and did lots and lots and lots of singles because I was so happy that I could finally do it, the second and the third and so on and so forth came a lot quicker after that.
Nice. Okay, cool. And the next question is going to require that you see the picture that we posted. There's Lindy.
Yeah.
Hold on. There she is back in 7th grade.
Yep, I think it was 7th grade.
And here she is now-ish. Sorry, there's a glare. Yep. But the biggest question we got is what happened to the puka shell necklace?
I love that thing, man. I wore that all the time. I was into the puka shells and those those plastic fake choker necklaces, if you remember those.
Oh, yeah. How old are you?
7th grade, I think.
No, how old are you now?
Oh, how old am I now? 26.
Okay, yeah, I'm 27. So it was always the shell necklaces, and then you had the dudes who had the hair that would be gelled, and then it looked like they ran into a wall.
It went straight up.
Yeah.
I had that. I wore it for a very long time. I would say I probably took it into 8th grade with me for at least a couple months until my style changed, but I had it for a while. I don't think that I still have it physically, but I can look for it. But I had it. I wore that thing all the time.
Okay, how about this? For just the Barbell Shrugged Reigning Supreme audience, do you think you could maybe christen the puka shell necklace at regionals? You know, maybe take it off right before you go out there?
Throw it off? Yeah, I mean, if I find it and I can find that same one, I can definitely rock it. I can do
You
that.
can always get a new one.
That's true. Do they even sell those anymore? Do they still make puka shell necklaces?
I'm sure if you go into Abercrombie and Fitch, there will be.
They'll probably have them.
Right on. Well, cool. Do you have anything else you want? Actually, I did want to ask one more thing.
Yeah.
Because I think inspiration and motivation sometimes is almost more important than the, like you were saying, just having a why, having a reason, having a purpose. Sometimes, you get lost in the details. And is there any place you go to for inspiration or, be it maybe a book or a movie or anything like that? What kind of gets you going?
I am inspired by actually cheesy fitness, not necessarily memes, but literally when I want to be jacked up or to be I'm not having a very good training day, I will Google fitness inspiration quotes, and usually it comes up on funny backgrounds of sunsets or oceans or something, but whatever those quotes are, and I like quotes by real people, so quotes by Muhammad Ali and quotes by other athletes. Mia Hamm, of course, is another big one for me. So quotes by athletes who have been through the ringer and have able to been successful, and that they can give their own thoughts on what it takes to be successful and what to do to get through those hard days. I'm a quote girl. I watch YouTube videos that have I'm going to show you how good I am. That Muhammad Ali video is a really good one. So I really like other athletes, so bigger athletes who have also been through all of this and have been successful no matter what hardships they've come through. So that's usually where I go to for my own inspiration.
Nice. Yeah, Michael Jordan's my guy, as you can see.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
The quote on this one says, no bird soars too high if he soars with his own wings. And then, of course, it's only made better when you got MJ above the quote. But have you ever seen his commercial? Maybe if you haven't seen this one, this will be a good one for you next time you're down. Go Google, next time you need some inspiration, Google Maybe It's My Fault commercial, Michael Jordan.
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, my gosh, that's my favorite thing ever created.
Good. Well, I'm definitely going to have to check it out.
Do you have a favorite quote?
Don't let success go to your head, but don't let failure go to your heart.
Who said that?
I actually don't know, but it's been my favorite quote since I was in college, and it's only played into my life 1,000 times.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. Good catching up. Are you going to be doing regionals? You got anything else you want to promote maybe coming up? Maybe shout out to your gym, anything like that?
Yeah, so I'm training at Barbell CrossFit. We have some athletes all going to regional, so that'll be really fun for us all to be there and supporting. Obviously, I'm doing regionals at the end of May, and I'm doing another Rush Club in June, so I'll be there defending my title.
Oh, snap. Hey, did you get the real belt, or do you still got the fake one?
I still have the fake one.
Oh, I'm going to have to hit the Rush Club dudes up. We got to get you some bling-bling. Okay, where can people follow you on Instagram, Twitters, MySpace? It's
all very easy. So my Instagram is at Lindy Barber. My Twitter is actually at Lindy Barber because that's my real name. And then I have a Facebook athlete page, which is Lindy Barber. So it's pretty simple.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for coming on, and we'll see you at Rush Club.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
Join the conversation every week after the episode over at barbellshrugged.com. This is also where you'll find new episodes of Barbell Shrugged, Technique Wad, Nuggets and Pearls, Barbell Business, Get Change, plus new articles every day on our daily blog, written by us, guests of the show, and some of the biggest names in strength and conditioning. So, go there and leave a comment now. Oh my gosh, wow, that's so cool. Yay, that's so awesome.
Did you like this video? If so, subscribe to our channel and share this with your friends.
And if you want even more free, awesome resources to help you reach your fitness goals, plus some updates that we only share over email, head over to barbellshrugged.com and sign up for the newsletter.